Hello everyone! I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to more GregTech New Horizons. So today is a pretty big day for us because we're going to be working on the bricked blast furnace so that we can get some steel. And I've already been working for maybe a couple of hours, I think, already, trying to get all the resources together so that we can make this thing. So let's bring you up to speed on where we are. So to start, I want to show you the quest. So this is the quest we have to do today, which is time to get some steel. Now, my goal is that we get this quest done and actually get our first bit of steel today. I'm not sure, though, if we're going to be able to do this all in one episode. I'm hoping we can. I've run some calculations. I think we can pull it off, but we'll see. We'll see. If we don't get it today, definitely by the next episode. So, what do we need to do? Well, first of all, I want to point something out. We needed to get 1008 clay balls from various sources like the rivers, around the base, which I did. The problem is, I've looked at some stuff and you don't need any of this. You don't need a single clay ball to finish this project. And I'm going to show you that reason why that is in just a bit. So, I got all this clay for pretty much no reason, but I'll show you why the reasoning is for that. So, the other thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make some furnaces so that we can make 4 iron furnaces. And then we get to the really interesting stuff where we need to get some calcite dust, which we do have at this point. I just need to finish the final step of processing it. Clay dust is something I've been working on. Stone dust is no problem. Quartz sand is a matter of just macerating a little bit of sand. That's no real problem. This step we've completely skipped. This step we've completely skipped. And this step we get from actual bricks from various dungeons that we found nearby, at least those like brick structures. So that's something I've been working on, and then there's more clay dust. And then this is the stuff we need to get on with today to finish the entire project. So, let's kind of go into the base and show you where we are at. So, I'll show you where we're at. We've had machines running constantly lately, trying to process some stuff. And let's just bring you up to speed. So, over here, in this chest right here, I've kind of started compiling a couple of resources together. So we've got some brick dust here, we've got some clay dust here, some gypsum and calcite dust. Now, most of that is still in impure form over here, and we've got plenty of this stuff now. We're doing quite well. I've done a lot of mining, so we're not short on any of this stuff right here. Here's some stone dust as well. Now, how are we getting the brick dust and the clay dust? Because, as you may know, in this chest over here, I've got a lot of clay. In fact, if you look there, 1.38 thousand. So, a lot of clay. However, I discovered something very interesting. This right here is a light gray stained clay. And if you macerate this down, you get 1 clay dust, which is what we need. If we were to macerate the clay balls over here, let's take a look. If I can find the recipe. You get 2 small piles of clay dust in 0.8 seconds, which for us is 1.6 seconds because we have the basic version. This is going to give us 1 bit of clay dust in 0.85 seconds, but it's 1 clay dust. That you need to process 2 of those at once to get 1 clay dust from. Anyways, where did I get all of this light gray stained clay? Because I have 13 stacks of it in that barrel right there. Well, the place I got it from was over there. So we've got that giant mountain basically of nothing but stained clay, and I just went over there and went to town on it mining. So we've got a ton of the stuff from over there, and we have no shortage of clay dust. So that was quite a good thing to do. You don't really need to deal with all this clay. In fact, this is going to be much faster to process. In fact, I'll show you, we still need to get a little bit more clay dust. So I'll take a stack, throw it in here. In fact, here's another stack already. And as you can see, it just goes and goes and goes. It's pretty fast. So, the other thing that I want to show you is about the bricks here. Because I think I've already mentioned this, but the bricks, we are going to be able to skip all that stuff about having to use clay and actually turn it into bricks manually. That's just going to be an overall painful process. This allows us to just grab the bricks from the structures and then macerate it down and get some more brick dust. So, it's quite a good thing that we have that. And let me turn that down actually again. Let's go with 15's fine. macerator is quite loud when it runs constantly like that. So we've already got some bricks over here, so we're doing quite well, I'd say. But there is still more work to be done. In fact, we do need to get some of this stuff processed down. In fact, I'll just take the full stacks for now. That'll be more than enough for what we need to do for today. Now, for the purpose of this episode, or the next one, the goal is that we're going to need to get probably one of these blast furnaces up, but eventually, I'm going to try and go for 2 of these pretty much immediately. For today, we'll probably only get 1, but I want to get 2, and eventually we're probably going to want to get maybe 4, maybe more than that. But for now, we're just going for the 1, so let's kind of get all of this stuff kind of dealt with. Okay, perfect. And it's just so easy with this water tank here. We just come like that, and we just drop more stuff in. So, there we go. That's the calcite and gypsum already dealt with. And this macerator really is noisy, though, isn't it? Let's actually move that stuff back a bit. There we go. So there's the gypsum. There's the calcite. Clay dust here. We still need to process a couple more of bricks. We actually need more clay dust. I think we actually might be close to enough on that. Let's take a look. So we need 108, which is a little under 2 stacks. 144. So, we're close. It's like, what is that? It's like 52, I think. So, I think we've got just enough clay dust at this point. We'll see. We do need to actually get a little bit of quartz sand, which is a matter of just putting some sand through that thing, which I can do next. How long does that take in a macerator? Let's take a look. Let's see here. Quartz sand. Oh, 10 seconds. It's going to be 20. So we'll do that manually then, I think. And let's go to sleep as well here quickly. Because we are using solar power, which isn't going to run at night. So it is important that we sleep right now. And I'm actually running all the boilers right now we have up there. All of the steam boilers. Because we have been going through quite a bit of steam. Running multiple machines. So I need all the steam power right now. So let's come over here and make this with our mortar. Because that's going to just be the fastest way to do that. There's the quartz sand. So, what else do we need to do? So, we've got, well, the clay dust we've already got. This step skip, that step skip, brick dust, clay dust. I think we're pretty much ready to start moving on to the next step. I can make this in a minute. In fact, I think we've already got some. So, if we come here with the clay dust and the brick dust, and let's just gather all the stuff in our inventory just so everything here ticks off a bit. So we've got some of the clay dust there, and we've got some of the brick dust that was all ticked off. So I think what we need to do is we need to put now in the clay dust and the brick dust together to make something called fire clay dust. So that's going to get us some fire clay dust, and we need to make 216 of these because we need to put these through a compressor. Now this is where the actual kind of time is going to come into play because I need 216 of these compressed fire clays. And in fact, that thing just stopped. So let's get that thing running again just in case we need a bit more. Process. Let's process one more stack of bricks. Why not? We probably don't need that right now, but I can put this stack over here away. I think we've got more than enough right now. But I am making a little bit extra resources as well. So there's a lot of work going into this. In fact, I need that right there. So, anyways, this is going to take quite a bit of time because it says 4 seconds, but with the steam compressor, it's 8 seconds per piece of this, and we need 216. I ran some calculations. I think it's like 28, 30 minutes or something like that to get all of that, which is quite a bit of time. However, we could use the high-pressure steam compressor, which uses double the steam but completes its work in half the time. Now, you're probably wondering how on earth we're supposed to make this thing, because we need steel. We need raw iron, which is actually not an issue for us, I don't think. And, well, basically, we need steel. Well, if you probably have been noticing, we have a little bit of steel from our exploration. We actually have the raw iron as well. And as far as I can tell, we can make this. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and upgrade our compressor to the high pressure version so that we can go ahead and make this fire clay a little bit faster. In fact, it'll be double the time, in fact. So that's what we're going to do. So we need a little bit of steel, just one plate. I don't want to get too many because I don't want to complete this quest accidentally to get 8 steel, because I can do that right now. It's just I don't want to get that done until we actually can make the steel. I just feel like it's kind of too early. That's my own preference. But we don't need much steel, so just I think 3 will be enough to make 2 plates. The raw iron I can do as much as I want, so let's take 15, because I think we need quite a bit of that. And we put that in there. And how are we doing on steam right now? Oh, we're doing okay, actually. This thing doesn't use too much, so I guess it's okay. Here's the steel plates, and we'll get some raw iron plates. And we are going to need you. Now, oh, I've got some of these as well. So this is a block of coal coke right here, which we are going to actually be using this when we get to the blast furnace itself to make the steel. So this is how we actually make the steel in the blast furnace. You need to get some iron ingots and some coal coke. It does take a very long time. The coal coke, I think, is actually faster. The other option is charcoal, but since we have some coal, what I did was I put some coal through the not blast furnaces, the coke ovens. In fact, we've got a bit more here already. And basically, I compressed it down to blocks, and we get some blocks of coal coke, which we'll use inside of the the blast furnace. And basically, the reason I'm using blocks is, if we actually look at the recipe for steel in here, well, there's quite a few of them, in fact. You can even use other things like sugar coke or cactus coke, which is kind of interesting. But, basically, what we are going to be doing here is, if we look here, we can use charcoal, dust. You can use charcoal itself. You can use coal coke itself, blocks of charcoal. This takes a lot longer, but the difference between kind of using blocks and normal things is, if I'm correct, normally what you would do to make a single steel is you would use, if I can find the recipe, because there are quite a few. Coal coke, yes. You use 18 coal coke to make 9 steel with 1 block of iron. So 9 iron and 18 coal coke gives you 9 steel. Here, with the block recipe, which again, if I can find it, I'll just show you. It's basically the matter you save a little bit of coal coke, I think. It's something like that. So, we have some iron in here for some reason. Where's my forge hammer? There it is, the raw iron. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get this compressor. I've been using so many machines. I'm all over the place right now in terms of different machines we've been using. But what we need to do is make some of these. And, oh, we need to get the compressor as well. So, it's quite good that we can make this, because this should speed up the production of the fire clay quite a bit. But it is going to use up quite a bit of steam, so we need to be careful about that too. But here we go. High pressure steam compressor. Excuse me. So, there we go. And let's put that thing on in. Lovely. Just make sure you're outputting, and we should only take 4 seconds to process this stuff down. Yes, but it does use 320 liters of steam per second, which, if this is the only thing running, shouldn't really be a problem, so that's quite good. So we do need to make sure that this thing is kind of stocked up, and in fact we need another batch of that made up too. But yeah, that's quite good. We're making progress now. Let's see if we can get... Well, we can't actually do that. We need to compress that. Most of the stuff we need to do now is compress the stuff, but that's alright. I've got enough coal coke for what we need to do right now. So, here's the steel plate. There's the raw iron plates. Here's the fire clay dust. And I just need to make sure we keep that thing kind of stocked up. So, while we're waiting for that, I actually wanted to do something else for today, which is going to help us in the process of crafting everything together. Because if we take a look again at the quest we need to do, time to get some steel. We are going to be doing that, which is what we're doing now. After we get the compressed fire clay, we need to put it into the furnace, which is going to give us the fire brick. So we just smelt that stuff down, no problem there. And then, with some gypsum, we need to make something called fire bricks, which is the main kind of block used to make the blast furnace we're going to make. And we use fire bricks and some gypsum, or calcium sulfate, which we don't have, but gypsum. And we also need this, a bucket of concrete. Now, the bucket of concrete is basically where everything else comes into play. You need some stone dust, quartz sand, clay dust, and some calcite dust. And what we do with this stuff is we use a water bucket and we use a normal bucket in order to get the bucket of concrete. Now, this recipe manually is really not going to be fun because water buckets, as we know, don't stack, so you have to put it in one by one. What we're going to make is something called a work table from forestry, which is going to allow us to actually load it up with certain items, and I think we can just kind of one-click things, and it makes things so much faster. So that's what we're going to do. Now, there is a quest for this, I believe, in the Steam Age, which is this one, but we first need to make a bookshelf. So we're going to do that. Now, we're actually going to do two of them because I have two separate things I want to use them for. So we're going to actually put one down here. We're going to put another one up by the water for the purpose of making the blast furnace stuff in. So let's kind of get started with this. So we need to make some bookshelves. We need two of these. We need 3 books, which we've got, and we need some wood planks, which are... we need the compressor, don't we? Okay, alright, we are going to need to use that then. We need some wood pulp, though, I believe, right? So we need to make 12 of these, so we need, I think, like 120 of this. How much do we have? 48. So what we can do is... I could macerate this, but let's actually do it this way. Let's use the mortar, I think. It doesn't give you as much now, does it? Well, let's get some of it going then. It takes 40 seconds, though, doesn't it? Yeah. Alright, well, we might have to macerate it then. Manually way. Not just with the machine. It's alright, we do that. How much is that? We're almost there, actually, already. Well, we can get the rest from the other way, I guess. This is enough to get us... How many of these do we need? 8. So that's 8 planks there. We need 4 more. Oh, that's actually enough. I believe. Okay. Well, that's quite good. Let's go to sleep as well. It's nighttime. So this is actually almost done with the first load. So the next step of this is the smelter, and we do need to empty these because we've got a ton of iron. So when I went to go get, I think it was the gypsum, you get a lot of iron, so I've been smelting all of that down. In fact, I think all of these have iron in them. Yeah. Tons of iron. 4.5 stacks of iron, so we'll load it up on that again. Why are you not running here? Oh, you've run out. Let's get some coal in you as well. We need more coal coke. So basically my plan for the processing of all of the steel right now is to use as much coal coke as I can until we run out of coal. Now I can get more coal because we have a coal vein right there, which is down this path here. So basically I dug to it from down here. Not too bad to do. But yeah, we're going to use the coal coke first until we run out, then we'll transfer over to charcoal eventually. Alright, you're done. We need to start processing some of the plates. Or planks. And you need to begin work over here to get to the next stage of completedness. Perfect. Oh, by the way, I actually noticed, that the bucket of creosote oil, well, the iron furnace in general is actually not only faster than a normal furnace, but it's actually more efficient because normally, unless something's changed, a bucket of creosote oil only processes, I think, a half stack of items, which is what I put in here. But I found out through testing that it actually, in the iron furnace, can process up to 40 items in one go. So that's something I noticed. which is kind of interesting. We've got some more wood pulp here. I don't really know if we needed this stuff right now. But we are getting our wood planks, so that's a little bit of a delay in the fire clay right now. But that's alright. It's the only way we can get it right now. But, yeah, I think we're coming along. So, while all of that's still processing, let me kind of show you what I'm thinking for putting this. Now, it's probably going to be a temporary location, but I think, if I look at the chunks here, I think we're just going to maybe plop it down somewhere around here. So, that's kind of just what I'm thinking for now. It's not going to look very pretty, to be honest, but we are going to be expanding the base right after we do this, and we'll find a more suitable location at that point. But I just wanted some steel getting going in the background while I'm doing all of this work, kind of processing steel, getting that going while we're expanding the base. Now, all of our little friends we made last time are still here. We've got the Mr. Snow Golem over here. We've got Mr. Iron Golem. Here's our new cat that we got. So we're doing quite well over here. It's actually interesting, they all kind of stay over here right now, which is quite good. Because over here can be a little bit dangerous, but yeah, it's okay. Anyway, so let's get back to work. Oh, also, I was going to open up these loot bags at the end of the last episode, but I just completely forgot. So what we'll probably do is we'll kind of open up a massive amount of loot bags once we get our first bit of steel, kind of as a celebration. So, where are we at here? We've got wood planks. We need 4 more of those, so let's get you running. Well, let's just put all that in for now. We just need 4. And we really need to get this stuff going again, because that stuff's going to take quite a while. Alright, I don't think we need this running anymore. I can worry about that later. We won't need wood planks for a little bit until we get this bookshelves. In fact, we only need 4 more, so let's not make any extra. There we go. Oh, while we're waiting, let's make those iron furnaces, actually. How many iron plates do we have? Okay. Oh, we're gonna need more flint. I wonder what happens if we put that into a macerator. Okay, we're not going to do that. Have no idea what it's going to give us, but 40 seconds is just too long for me. So, we're going to probably need a new mortar. Let's make 2, in fact. Perfect. So let's put that back in there. And now what we need to do is make the furnaces, I believe. We actually have 1 iron furnace already here. So we need to make 3 more. We have 1 furnace there, so we need 2 furnaces. And how do we make the iron furnace? I've already forgotten that. There we go. Alright, so there's the iron furnaces done. Alright, so that should be the wood planks now finished. Perfect. And let's put some fire clay dust in there and get that going again. Wonderful. And you're still processing up, so in fact we've already got some fire brick here. And actually what we can probably do is... We've got, well, 2 stacks here, 1 stack there, so we'll need 6 more buckets. I'm going to load these up with creosote oil now, so I don't have to do that later. Perfect. So that should have that stuff already ready to go once that stuff's done. And let's take a bite to eat. Alright, so let's make these bookshelves that we need to do. We have our books somewhere. There they are. There we go. 2 bookshelves. That should be a quest. Welcome to Forestry. Now, I actually did notice this is in another quest chapter as well. Here we go, Forestry and Multi-Farms. So, it actually shared with the Steam Age quest, but we can work from it from here as well. The work table's also over here, so that's what we're going to use. So, we need to get the bookshelves, which we have. crafting tables, well, we've got those here. In fact, I'm going to use the one upstairs too. We're going to make 2 of these, so let's grab both of them. It's basically going to replace this guy right here. And then we're going to do the middle one in our little crafting area there. I think that'll look quite nice. So there we go. What else do we need? We need to get a chest, which we are going to need a few more of, so let's do that quick. It's not too expensive to make some chests at this point. So we need to make a couple of these. There we go. That's pretty easy. And let's take a look here. We've got our flint. No, we don't need the flint for this. We need iron screws now, which we don't have, but I've got some iron rods. Probably not enough. Let's make a couple extras. Why not? And then we turn these back into the screws now, using the file. I could have done these, but well, we just got enough in the end. Even though I said we were going to do some extras. Anyways, though, here's 2 work tables. So that is going to be quite a good thing for us to have. So let me kind of show you how this thing works now. And let's actually quickly check on this, because I want to make sure this is constantly running. Let's actually empty you for now. And we'll get a bit of this stuff going as well. So, what this thing has is its own internal inventory. I can put stuff in here, and we can actually start crafting some stuff. Now, what we're going to use this for is, well, this one right here is actually going to be used to make these tools, actually. So, let's just kind of show you what I mean. So, we're going to start by encoding some recipes in this thing. And what I want to do is I want to put tools in here, kind of have a way of easily making tools, because it's just a pain when we run out of these. I have to make more of them. This is going to help us a lot, I think. So, we do make diamond hammers now, I think, so that's the first one we're going to make. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, interesting. Give me an achievement just because I dropped a diamond and picked it up. I guess I never picked one up manually before. That's interesting. Anyways, so we're going to use some bamboo for sticks for now. Even though we probably should use normal sticks, let's use normal sticks. So what you do is you just put this in like this, and it doesn't take it. You put that there, you put a stick here, and now, if you take a look, you get a hammer. So I can just take it, and it makes it for us. So it uses everything kind of in its internal inventory to make it, but it also remembers these recipes. And what I can do is it remembers the last 9 you made, but I can right-click this, and it will lock the recipe, so it will always remember this. So it's quite a good thing to have. Now, what else do we need to make? Now, I've actually got plenty of hammers, ironically, so we're good on hammers for now. The other thing we're going to want to make, well, let's just grab what we usually make. So, I go through a lot of files and saws. Wrenches we sometimes go through. I definitely use soft mallets. These we don't quite use too much of right now, so I won't put them in right now. They are a little bit more complicated. It is also nighttime again. So, what we're going to need is, we're going to just kind of make these. So, for the wrench, we use the hammer. So, actually, we need a hammer. So, you go in there. You'll be the new hammer for the work table. And we'll go ahead and make this. So, we just remove this. By the way, you can click this X. It won't delete that. And let's make a wrench. So, there we go. Now we have a wrench. Right-click it, we keep that recipe in there. Next, we can make ourselves the file, which is going to be to make some plates. Which we need some iron plates for that. There's the file. So we've got that one. And we need to make... Oh, the mortar. We're going to want to make mortars as well. So let's do it like this. Let's take all of our stone out, put that in there. And we'll just grab quite a few ingots of iron, I guess. And we'll do something like this. So there's the mortar. Next, we're going to want to make the saw. We'll probably need to make a few more. I'll just put all my iron plates in here for now. But we need to make the saw, which is a little bit different because it's a two-step process. So probably just use 2 of them for that. So there's the saw blade. And then to make the actual saw, we'll do that. Perfect. So we've got the saw, file, wrench, hammer, mortar. Oh, soft mallet. I was going to make the soft mallet, which is going to require a little bit of these planks. But looks like we're going to have enough space for all of these different components. So, soft mallet. And looks like... Oh, I didn't mean to do that, did I? Oh, that's very interesting, isn't it? Okay, well, it's not too big of a deal, but apparently if you middle click, it just starts making everything. I thought that was going to sort everything, but apparently not. Let's put these somewhere over here. Well, now we've got all the soft mallets we'll ever need. Let's throw these in here. So, that was a bit of a mistake. So, we've got no shortage of soft mallets now, I suppose. It's alright, we'll go through them in the end at some point. Alright, well, it's okay. So, I do need to get a little bit... Well, we probably don't even need to make more of those right now anyways. Let's check on this guy again. Yep, he's already stopped. So let's get you running again. Get these cooking up. Perfect. Why is there just a single stone dust in here? Oh, that was the gravel, so it doesn't even give you flint, it just gives you stone dust. Okay, interesting. Alright, what are we doing now? I've still got these soft mallets on me, which we don't need right now, so let's throw them over here. So, note to self, and note to you as well, don't middle click when you're in this, because it will just make a bunch of stuff that you don't want. So, we learned that the hard way just now. At least it was the soft mallet, not something like, you know, a hammer with diamonds. So, could have been a little bit worse, I guess. So, anyways, where are we at now? We could just go ahead and make the screwdriver and wire cutters too. What's the recipes for these? So you need the rods. Alright, let's do it. Let's do that one. Let's grab the wire cutter as well. You need screws, you need rods. Where are we on iron here? I was going to put a bit of iron in this thing. Let's put 8 in. And we need some iron plates in that thing as well still, don't we? So let's put some through the forge hammer. And we're going to make some rods as well, so I'll make a couple of each. My inventory's an absolute mess right now, but that's alright. This is going to help us, I think, to at least make these tools a lot more easily. Alright, there we go. So I put those in there, put those in there. Most of these are from our own stock, I think. Wire cutter. Oh, we need the screwdriver still, don't we? Just so I can figure out how to make it. So we need 2 rods and a stick. I think it was a file and a hammer. Perfect. Screwdriver. So there's the screwdriver, and now we just need to make the wire cutter, which is the same exact kind of components, just with a couple of plates added on as well. Looks like you're also getting on your way here. empty out these buckets as well. Okay, perfect. In fact, let's fill this thing up again with the remaining fire clay. So we're actually almost done with that. That's quite good. So we're almost there. And we just need to get this wire cutter encoded in. So we need some plates. Put these in, I think, like this. What was the other thing we needed? We need some rods, and then we need a screw. Screwdriver was there. File and hammer. Perfect. So now, if I need any of these kind of tools, I can just come in here. Probably put up a couple of diamonds as well, why not? Just so we can make the hammer later on if we need to. But basically, I just come in here, start clicking things around. We're doing quite well. Put a bit more iron as well, because we do use that in here. So yeah, just a couple of things we need. Occasionally have to stock up a kind of some intermediate parts, but otherwise it's looking quite good in here. So we're doing quite well. That's going to help us a lot. Now, I do need to install the other one upstairs. We're going to put that one up here. We'll use that one in a bit. In fact, we can probably start transferring some stuff over to it that we're going to need. So, what we need is this bucket of concrete is the really painful part. Stone dust, quartz sand, clay dust, and calcite. Well, really, I can probably just move all the stuff over here and there. Brick dust was just for the fire clay, I believe. So get that going. Just need to put one more in. We're actually almost there. So this is going quite well. So let's put all of this up here. Okay, perfect. And oh, I have some iron plates on me for some reason. Let's put those over here. We don't need those right now, I don't think. Okay, so the fire clay is now done. At least the compressed fire clay. This is the last batch of the actual fire clay to be made up right here. So let's start taking some of this, and we might be able to get started with actually making some stuff now. So, we're actually going to get there, I think. I think we're pretty much going to finish this today now. So, that's the first 2 stacks and a half. We've got another stack and a half to go. So, how much do we need to do? Let's take a look. What do we need to get done still? Again, all of these are optional tasks pretty much, except for this. This would actually complete the quest. We could do that right now, but we need to get 36 of these for the actual structure still, so let's get started with that then. We need 36, and even if I make a few extra, it's not going to be an issue because we're going to need multiple of these. So, we've got all of that. We need to make this. We need to make this first, which we can just right-click also to do that, and we need some water buckets. So, this is where things get a bit interesting. I've got quite a few buckets on me. We come like this, and I think we can just do something like that. And we can start taking it. There we go. I just right-click it, and it did instantly 5 buckets of concrete. We'll lock that. Fire bricks we can make now, and we can encode that. It does have that, but was it gypsum? There we go. And we just right-click, and we get our first 5. So we kind of just want to keep going through this process right here. Making this, we do need to manually grab the water, but this is going to be a lot better than having done this in a normal crafting table, I think. Because now it's just a matter of me doing a couple of clicks, and there we go, we've already got 9 of them. And let's see, what else do we need to do? I need to get some of these bucket of concrete. Turn those into fire bricks. So yeah, it's basically just a couple of clicks we just need to do now. So this is coming along. Some reason it sometimes puts the last item in your inventory, but we can just do that. So 19 of these. In fact, we can probably go with, well, 5's fine because we need 5. Put half of them into water, half of them as buckets. That way you will get all the concrete you need. So there's 24. It is nighttime also, we should go to bed. But yeah, we're almost there. We're getting really close, actually. It's getting close to happening now. And we've got so much water in here, this is not going to be an issue either. So we need to get some more water. Oh, and we're actually out of 5 bricks, so let's see how much more we've got downstairs. What do we have in here? So you're done, you're almost done, and you're almost done as well. So we've only got a couple more to go. In fact, we should have enough to get everything finished here. So this is going quite well, actually. Honestly, better than I thought. So here's the concrete, fire bricks. Take the buckets, fill them with water, concrete, fire bricks. Take the buckets, concrete, fire bricks, and oh, that's enough. We've got enough now, so we just need 36 of these. So yeah, it's quite easy to do it in this work table, a lot better than having to do it in even a normal crafting table. Or crafting station even, because you can't stack the water buckets, so it does take quite a bit of work, but that really helps. So, now we have our fire bricks. We need to get one more thing done in order to get this, which is the actual controller for this, which is the bricked blast furnace, and that's where the iron furnaces come in, along with some fire bricks and a wrench. And here's the structure we need, so 32 of these, so we have 36, we'll use 4 on this, and we've got enough, I think, so we're just about there. So we need to make the controller, which we already have everything for. And there we go. The brick blast furnace. And that should knock it out. Yes. Time to get some steel. So the time is now here for us to make this. And we'll be able to get some steel. So like I said, I think we're just going to plop this down over here for now. I really don't mind it. So I just need to put it somewhere where it will work. Let's just make sure this is in the same chunk. Yep, this should do. So the structure of this thing is a 3x3x4, but the middle is going to be hollow. So all we need to do is kind of store it by... How do I want to put this? I think I'll just put it right up against the window. I don't mind that. But we do need to make sure that the top, I think, is open. I think we've got enough space. I'm not sure, though. Yeah, we'll be alright. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We'll see. So then we just have to go around like this. Hopefully that will work, and we can just put the controller here, and that should be something. Not sure of how we know if it's actually formed or not, but I think it's formed. So, the only way to test this now is to actually use my blocks of coal coke along with some iron. And actually, I take that back. We're not going to do that for this. Which sounds kind of strange, but I have something kind of special I want to try here. So, we're going to do the normal recipe just to make the first steel ingot. So, we need 1 iron ingot and 2 coal coke for that. Because we're going to try something with this. And I want to try something. After we do it the first time, we'll do the actual blocks, which will take a long time. But for now, we're going to do something like this. And we'll see if this actually works. So we put the iron here, and we put coal coke here. And it's off and running. So it does take 240 seconds, but this should result in us getting our first bit of steel. Now, something we do want to keep in mind with this is this thing makes a lot of pollution. And this is not something I don't think we've talked about yet, but if we look here, this causes 200 pollution per second, which is quite a bit compared to other things. I think furnaces technically also cause pollution, but not that much. So, it is something that is going to become a bigger issue, especially now that we have these. Now, once we have multiple of these, we'll probably start having bigger problems with that, but for now, I don't think there's much we can do with it. I know some people disable pollution. I kind of prefer to play with it. I think it just adds an extra layer of challenge, so we'll kind of see what happens, I guess. But yeah, that's almost ready for us to get our steel. Now, while that is working up, there is something I want to make. So, we're going to make, let's see if we can make it yet, an item frame. Okay, that looks doable. So, an item frame, we need an iron ring. Well, that won't be an issue for us. Let's grab a file. So yeah, this is going to be quite a long episode, though. You know, a lot of stuff went into making this. I actually thought at first it was going to be a 2-episode thing, but with the way things kind of looked, I was like, maybe we can get this all done today. So it looks like we will. Well, we are going to get done because the steel's already being processed here. So there is the iron ring, and we're going to make an item frame. Now, this item frame is something we're going to use in just a moment, and you'll see why. That let's put it over here for now. These are going to get moved at some point, but this is kind of our treasure area. We'll put that there for now. And how much longer? You almost halfway done. Let's take a look at the quest, because I think we completed a couple of quests here along the way. So we did get this quest done, I think. Let's take a look. Yeah, we did. Oh, we need to choose between concentrated essence berries, iron ore berries, or gold ore berries. Let's take a look at what we have. Okay, so we've actually got all of these. Let's just do these, I think. Yeah, let's do those. So that will give us quite a few things. And we did complete some quests over here as well in the Steam Age, which was the bookshelf. Ooh, honeyed slice. And some coins. That was all. And the work table, which is going to give us some raw iron ingots, apple oak sapling. Okay, interesting. And we'll put the coins away over here. And oh, we have one more coin here. Let's just eat these right now. And coke. In fact, let's actually start getting some of that more processed down here. Because I will be using that later on. But I'm quite glad we made this. This definitely sped things up a lot. So that was quite a good move, I think, to do that. We had the resources to get it done, and we did it. How much more time do we have? Oh, only 25 seconds to go till we make our first steel. Really exciting, isn't it? And we're going to open up these loot bags in a bit as well once we get there. Let's put this raw iron away as well. Keep these. You can go away. These we don't need either. And all of that should be good. We will need some iron. Oh, we got it! Our first steel has finally been made. And you also get these tiny pile of ashes, but there it is, the first ever steel ingot which we ever made. And what I'm going to do with it is we're going to always have it on display in this item frame. So there it is, our first ever steel ingot. In fact, I think, if I can get it back, I think we can actually rename it even, just to make it even more special. Can we rename it? Yeah, we can, but it will cost a little bit of levels, but that's alright. Yeah, we can do that. First steel ingot. Did cost me 5 levels, but I'd say that's worth it. So there we go. We will always know that as the first ever steel ingot that we made. So that's something kind of fun I thought we'd do. So yeah, now I can get this thing set up to go for longer term. And I'll just throw this iron in where that, and off you go. 2,400 seconds, which is... oh, I'm not sure, actually. It's like 40 minutes, so... something like that. It takes a while. 20 minutes, 40 minutes, I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah. We got our first bit of steel made up. We've got this thing running, and... yeah, we're looking quite good. So, steel is something we finally have. the capability I'm making after all of that work. Let's put these away. And now, let's do something pretty exciting and open up a ton of loot bags. So we've gotten a ton of loot bags here, so we'll save these for the last. We'll do this one first. The food ones. So fast food, slow food. Let's see what we get. So we got a single piece of sliced bread. Interesting. Apples, so not too good so far. Ooh, chili chips. Interesting. Here's the slow food one. With a cranberry jelly sandwich. Interesting. It's kind of a really bad reward, just a single piece of sliced bread, isn't it? Because you actually need 2 sliced bread to even make a sandwich, like, so that's really bad. I mean, I guess I can eat it. I haven't eaten it yet. It's a new food, so I guess that works. So, let's go ahead and open up these. Now, this is where things could get really good. And let's go to bed as well. Because it is nighttime. Although, then again, we're not really running too many machines right now. So, let's actually turn those off. We don't want to waste too much of our charcoal on this. There we go. And let's go ahead and open up 11 Steam Age loot bags. Oh, wow. What is that? Epic Bacon. Alright, we've got some of that. Cow spawn egg as well. Some seeds and leather. Ooh, what's that? Imp Skin 2.0. Feather Falling 2. Fire Protection 2. Interesting. That sounds like it could be useful in the nether, which we'll have to go to soon, I think. We've got some bricks and a chicken spawn egg. We've got some wheat and some jelly beans. What's that? Ooh, a spawner wolf. Oh, we can get a new wolf now. Or some pressure plates. We also got those as well. What's that? Oh, spawn an ocelot. We've already got one of those. Well, we've got a cat, but we've got plenty of ocelots around the base. Some veggie sandwiches. Ooh, imp skin now. Oh, so now we got the chest plate of the imp skin. So we've got the boots and the chest plate. And now we got, ooh, some tin ore, oak fence gate, and 1 stack of wood screws. So tons of stuff we've gotten there. Let's put some of this away, actually. We don't need those spawn eggs on us. And actually, I forgot. Instead of waiting all that time to get that steel, we can just pick up the steel that we already have. Now that we can make it, let's complete this quest as well. Might give us a little bit extra stuff. So that should complete a quest there. There we go. Blast off. So now we've got our steel quest done. What can I get from that one? Breaded pork chops. We'll get another loot bag there. So that's quite good. Let's see what we get from this final loot bag. Just the leather boots and some spawn wolf eggs again. So, there we go. So, that was a pretty long episode, probably. But we got a lot done. We completed something pretty important. Getting this guy up and running is a big deal. And having our first bit of steel, we'll always know this steel ingot to be the first one. That's pretty fun. And yeah, we're coming together here. Things are coming along, and we're now ready to progress further. So, let's also check this off. I think we had our list here. So we've completed the 3rd task now, which is to make steel. Now I need to accumulate more steel to upgrade my tools, get the tool forge, make some advanced tools, and then it's time for base expansion. And these are going to go by a lot quicker. This was always going to be the longest step. So yeah, we're coming along here. So, with that, I think we're going to leave that one there. So, it's been a pretty big episode for us. Lots of stuff we got done, some big stuff too. But for now, we're going to leave it there. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.